The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up, everyone? Good morning and welcome to Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman. Sorry for the one-day delay. If you were calling in on Wednesday, I apologize. Had to shuffle some things around that time of year. One of my kids had a award ceremony at his school, so obviously I had to make it all work. Glad you guys could bear with me here, and we'll talk about everything today for the next hour and some change. We'll probably go the same amount as we normally do. Hopefully, we'll still hear from you. I hear the phones ringing back there, so that's always a good thing. 888-855-2297 is the number to dial. I know you guys will do that. The Cowboys had their first OTA. This is their first week of OTAs. They had their first practice that the media could see, and it was good. We'll talk about it a little bit. Again, you can't find out everything out there, or really, there's a lot of questions still to be answered. But for the first practice with all of the players and the coaches and all the changes here, there was a lot to unpack here, and then we'll do that in the next hour or so. All right. Well, let's get started. We got Zach in Atlanta. He's first off. So, Zach, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Nick in Frisco? How you been?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing all right, man. Congrats to your son on the award. Star student. We love to see it.
It was. I'll tell you this. It was a ready to learn award, and I'm like, I wish he would learn to do a few more things around the house, but whatever, it's all good. I think it was more like everybody gets an award, so he got one. It was all good. It was good.
Well, that's good, man. He's coming along. He'll learn the home stuff one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I just want to check in on the Pickens trade. I haven't checked in since then, and I'm excited.
What are your thoughts?
Great. Obviously, he's a great weapon. I think it's going to work out. But we had all these questions about it. Is Mingo gonna, is Tolbert, what's, Turpin's role? And I think Pickens in the offense now allows everyone else to play their role and play it well. And so, and obviously it just opens up the offense. And so really excited for he and CD. They're all saying the right things, so far. Dak is healthy at OTAs. It's a lot of if, ands.
Yeah.
But, I feel like we're not just riding empty. We're not just there's hopium for sure, but it's not without some decision making and some good moves. There's a little more leverage. I don't think we've fully caught up to Philly. Washington, year two of Jaden Daniels. We'll see what happens with them. Obviously, they had a great season this year, but I think we're better this time than we were this time last year going into the season, and we'll see how Shoddy handles everything. But really excited, man. That's all I got. I think Pickens opens up the offense and allows all the other receivers to play their role, and it's just going to be fun if done well. So that's all I got, man. I'll get off the line. Take care.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. First call of the show. Not only does Pickens open things up for those receivers you mentioned, I think it's got to open things up for Jake Ferguson or any of the tight ends. Ferguson last year had, I think it was like 50-something catches, almost 500 yards, no touchdowns. And, definitely when you get down in the red zone, that's where you want, your tight ends to find some space there. That's what I think Pickens is going to help with the most. I think Ferguson's average per catch was around 8 yards, which was the lowest of his career, even though he had 50-something catches, but still not as many big plays. That's where I think Pickens can help with the guys having big plays down the field. Again, it was just one practice at OTAs, but I do remember it took a while for Pickens to get his first catch, and it wasn't much. It was just kind of an over-the-middle grab, a few yards, whatever. But there was one play that I remember that Turpin was just wide open and is coming across the field, makes a catch. He's going in for a touchdown. Pickens is with them, right next to him, like, come on, let's go, like over here. It was that type of play where everybody's kind of open. CD had some. I think Mingo made one of the best catches of the day. He didn't catch a lot, but he did have a really nice grab. He's learned that he has to catch, passes that aren't exactly in front of him. I mean, when he was here last year, it seemed like never did he never got a ball right to him, and it was with Carolina. It was probably the same thing. So, he's gonna get his chances. He probably thought he might have, more of an opportunity before the Pickens trade, and that's just kind of the way it goes down. But he'll be ready to compete, and I think it's a good group now. Pickens obviously makes him better. All right, let's go. Is it Brian in Kansas City? I believe is next. Brian.
Good morning, Mr. Eatman.
Hey, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So I'm assuming you got to get out there and watch a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah, we were out there. We got to be out there.
Good deal. So I had a couple of questions. You guys kind of covered Pickens a little bit already. So my questions were, the previous administration had this thing about, you got to earn it and all this. Did they line Booker up at right guard?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Started
okay.
First. Yeah.
The last thing I want to hear is, well, no, he'll get more reps if he's over with the fours.
No, I'm with you on that. And to me, that's why you draft him at 12. That's the decision that's made in the war room. Like, does he come right in here and start? If we take this guy over this guy or this guy, does he start right away? And the answer obviously was yes. So let's don't waste any time. I don't agree with that. Now, Guyton last year wasn't ready, and we wanted him to be ready because he was a first-round pick and all that. He wanted him to be the next Tyron Smith, and he might be, but he wasn't ready. But 27th and was it 28th maybe he was drafted?
Well, I think it was 28th.
28th. 12th, big difference there, and that's one of the things is readiness to play. And so I think 100% he was there, and I didn't see anybody else taking snaps with the first team.
Good. So my other thing, and now this will be my last question, I'll hang up. What could you figure out? As you were watching it, what could you figure out about the running back rotation? We got so many bodies. What did you see when they were lining up? Who's running with the ones or leads or just whatever you saw, whatever your impression was. Good to talk to you, man. Yeah, I'll take that offline.
All right, Brian. Appreciate that. And I say this, and it kind of piggybacks what I don't want to be a hypocrite of what I just said about Booker, because somebody is going to be the starter, right off the bat, and at right guard, it was Booker. Now, Schottenheimer said in the press conference before that, you're going to see guys all over the place with the ones. You're going to see guys running with the ones that probably aren't starters, but they're going to get first-team reps. So saying that about running back, you have to qualify that a little bit. Very open for open debate there, and going to be an open competition. Javonte Williams, though, was the starter, I believe, for the majority of those for early snaps. I saw Sanders out there a lot, Miles Sanders. He's the one when I watched him, I see him a little bit. He's 27, look at the roster, and you just kind of think, wow, I'm just surprised he's on the team. Like so much has happened, so many different things, and kind of forget. He just seems like he's an Eagle, and he wasn't even with the Eagles last year. I think it was with Carolina, but that's how I remember him, and I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Sometimes you just forget guys that are here until they're out there running around, and so I'm like, all right. So but Jaden Blue's going to get chances too. I mean, because nobody can run like he can, and it's real simple with him. If he hangs on to the football, then he's probably going to be the guy that gets the most carries. I mean, that's it. Nobody's as fast as him. Nobody catches the ball out of the backfield as well as he, at least as what he did in college. He's got a learning curve there, but a dynamic playmaker. But he's got to hand the ball to the ref. If the other team has the football, then he's not going to be good enough. I think Parcells used to say it. No running back is worth the fumbles. I would kind of beg to differ there with the Hall of Fame genius head coach of Bill. DeMarco Murray in 2014, when he had 1,800 rushing yards, I think he fumbled like almost every game, at least for the first half of the season. He was losing a fumble every game, and he lost a big one in the playoffs, of course. But he was sort of worth it because he was Offensive Player of the Year. He had a lot of great plays, but you obviously don't want to be, called a fumbler, and you want to be someone that's trusted. But I think Jaden Blue has a chance to get in that mix as well. All right, let's go to Armando in Mexico City. Armando, what's up, man?
Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, chasing you because you switch days, you switch times. It's not easy to get a hold of you.
I know, and I apologize. I apologize.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, but
then I called, I got disconnected, and then I called again. So the universe is conspiring against me talking to you, but I won't be denied.
Good. That's good. I'm glad you called back today, and glad you got through. So what's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the George Pickens trade. I haven't had a chance to do that, and I just want to say I really liked it, and I was surprised, and I really like it. I have to give Jerry kudos on that because, as you know, the fan base is always complaining that we don't do enough, including myself, and it's always Jerry's fault whatever happens or doesn't happen.
Right.
If it rains, it's Jerry's fault. If it doesn't rain, it's Jerry's fault. If it rains too much, it's also Jerry's fault. So I have to congratulate the front office this time. I really like the trade. I mean, if it's going to work or not, we'll see. But at least they tried. So that was it.
Yeah. And I think you speak for a lot of Cowboy fans of like just do something. Just don't sit here every year and give us the same thing that we built through the draft and all that. Do something different. And I think in the last few years you haven't drafted as well as they've had in previous years, so they do have to do something. And I think you got to give them credit for that. They made I think 4 to 5 trades. They were a little bit more active in free agency. So I think it was a good mix this year.
Yeah, I'm really happy. So we'll see if it works. I hope it does, but we'll see.
Okay.
At least they tried.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I'm really excited to see. So thank you, Nick. See you next time.
Okay. All right. Good to hear from you, Armando. Mexico City. He just says, I'm glad they did something, and we'll see. You'll see what happens with the Pickens deal, and does it make everybody better? And right now it is that kumbaya type atmosphere. It was a fun atmosphere out at training camp. I'm sorry, I said training camp. Out at OTA practice earlier this week, and you could just tell everyone was excited to be there. Everybody. I mean, coaches jumping around. I mean, it was like a college type atmosphere. The players were clapping and hopping, and it was good. Does that mean that they're going to beat the Eagles on Thursday night to open the season? I mean, no, that doesn't mean that. What I'm pointing to a practice field out here. No, that doesn't mean that. But it means that they're buying in. And when you're buying in, then you're gonna be a little bit more attention to detail. And when you do that, then you're gonna have a little bit more confidence. When you have a little bit more confidence, then you're able to play a little bit faster. When you're playing faster, you can go get to the ball and make more plays. You make more plays, you win some games, and maybe you do beat the Eagles on Thursday night to open the season. So baby steps. This is part of the process, but I think it's a good start. It's a good start. This doesn't mean that the culture change and all this stuff that Schottenheimer's trying to do, put a ping pong table in the locker room, and they do free throw contests, and they're competing every day. That's the mantra: compete every day. It all sounds great. And we saw Garrett had the T-shirts, and there was messages from McCarthy. You got to go win games, and everyone understands that, but all we can judge is what we see right now. What we see right now is it looks good. It's pretty positive. We'll hope it translates to success on the field when it really, really counts. All right, let's go Michael Bowling Green. He's not in Kentucky right now, right?
Nope, I am in Panama City Beach, Florida.
Look at you. Now, is Panama City and Kentucky, do they look the same, or are they kind of different in the scenery?
Oh, they're a lot different.
That was a joke. I hope you got it, Michael. What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on in Panama City?
Especially the ocean.
Yeah.
I've got some predictions.
Okay.
All right. First prediction is I believe Schottenheimer's going to be our coach for about the next 10 years. I feel good about it.
Okay.
All right. Second one, we're going to beat the Eagles on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, you remember that game between Romo and Peyton Manning where both of them scored around 50-some points?
Yeah.
And the Colts won at the end?
Yep.
Well, I believe we're going to do the same thing with Kansas City, but we're going to win at the end.
Okay.
And our finals record is going to be 14-3.
Oh, my goodness. What are they serving in Panama City? I like it.
Oh man, that's it. I'm feeling really good. All the injuries we had last year, we're not going to have hardly any injuries this year. We're gonna have a season.
All right. Hey, I'm not going to be one to change your mind on that. I love it. I love the optimism. That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now is everyone's kind of buying in, and that's what being a fan's all about. I like it. I think thanks for the call, Michael. I mean, obviously on a vacation there in Panama City and still calling in. I appreciate that. I don't know who's around him. Me personally, I would be getting a side eye on that one. But hey, do your thing. Love it. Love the predictions. Shootout with Kansas City, beating the Eagles on Thursday night. 10 years. I mean, let's break these down. Okay, let's break down the four predictions here from Michael in Bowling Green / Panama. Which one is the craziest? Schottenheimer for 10 years. Oof, that's out there, but we've seen Garrett for 9. So Schottenheimer for 10, beating the Eagles Thursday night, shootout with Kansas City, 50-point game and winning that one, and Cowboys going 14-3. Wow. I think if I had to rank the craziest of that would be 14-3. I mean, that's just in this age. I'd be surprised if any team in the league goes 14-3. It's just hard to do, especially to double your win total in 1 year. That seems a little bit out there, and all the things that have to go right, and usually it doesn't. But 14-3, I will say that's the craziest. And then maybe, Schottenheimer for 10 years is that's pretty crazy too. To think anybody first year coach is going to go 10 years. Only Landry has done it. And there was some in this day and age, he probably wouldn't have lasted 10 years with the way things are scrutinized a little bit more. And then I would say the Kansas City shootout. I mean, that's certainly possible that could happen. And then the Eagles on Thursday night. I think that definitely could happen. Division games like that. I don't think Philly fans might want to see the Cowboys. They think it's cool to show their rings around, let the Cowboys watch and see it. But I don't know if Philly would want to see that, because they know the Cowboys know them. And so it's those division games are a little bit tougher. So, anyways, good stuff though. I like what you're thinking there. All right, let's go to Dylan in Northport, Florida. Dylan, what's up?
Hey Nick, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good, man. Hey, you had a caller last week. It was a really good call, and I forget the name of the guy, but he mentioned the health of the Cowboys versus the opponents in the playoffs, and it just seems like we always had a lot of guys on IR.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting, so I just went and I looked at the numbers, and I put together some stuff over the last 6 playoffs, but just the last 3 are the ones where that really rings true, where we had almost double the amount of guys on IR as our opponents. So, and that was for 2023, 2022. So, there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that for sure. And I don't know what they can do. A lot of it's freak injuries, ACLs and stuff. I don't know what you can do to fix that. But if the Cowboys can stay healthy this year with the core they have, and I think the trade they made for Pickens, my goodness, what a great trade that possibly can be if that plays out and this offense gets going. I think their floor is 8 wins, but that's pretty low. I got them around 10 wins plus or minus 1 with the schedule that they have. And I wanted to ask you, what game on this schedule, what are you most excited about?
Okay. You got anything else, or we'll move on to the next callers?
No, man. Shotty's going to be here for 15 years.
15.
I'm going to one up him.
Love it. All right, Dylan. Thanks so much. 8 to, I think they're going to be better than they were last year. I really do. I think, you just have to assume that. You have to assume that you're not going to have that many injuries to key players. All of this stuff that we're seeing in the offseason is, the added success, the more playmakers, you think they are going to have more. So I think 8 is a good, it's a good number there to say, will they get one more game? I think it'll be more than that. 8 to 10 is a good area, a good range. I could see a 10-7 team. This is good. This is a good football team because it has really good playmakers. And when you have playmakers that can help carry, Micah Parsons can help win some games for you, and CD can help win some games. And now you throw a Pickens in there that can help the entire offense, and Dak should be able to win some games too. And so, anyways, I like that. Now, as far which game on the schedule am I looking at the most? I say it. I say it every year. I always say the week 2 stuff because, and we mentioned it last week when the schedule came out, just the importance of that. There's a stretch there in late September and early October where you're playing the Bears on the road, the Packers at home, at the Jets, at the Panthers. You got to win those. 3 out of 4 on the road and 1 at home on a team that you've never beaten at home. The Packers are undefeated at AT&T Stadium, and you ask any fan and they'll tell you that. But you got to win these games. You got to beat the Giants in week 2. You got to go beat the Bears in week 3. And the Bears are looking at the Cowboys like, we got to win that game. So the Jets and Carolina, same thing. Those are games that they feel like they got to win. But if the Cowboys are going to be this 8, 9, 10 win team, or as Michael says, 14, you've got to go win those games right there, because at the end of the season, those schedules going to get tougher. But building some momentum there and let everyone say, hey, maybe this staff, this coach knows what's going on. But that stretch right there, the Jets, Panthers, Packers, those games right there, you got to win them. You gotta really start stacking wins, and that's the time, I think, to do that. All right, let's go. Let's go Rob in Vegas. Rob in Vegas, is he next? Rob, you there?
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Rob. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So, how did Guyton look? Did he look like he went to the gym, or does he still look like the Pillsbury Doughboy?
Well, I don't know if he looks like that. I don't know if that was ever. He just has to, change his body a little bit. He's tall. He's always going to be tall, so no one's ever gonna say he's going to be a sumo wrestler or anything like that. But I know what you're saying, and he has work on that. He did look better. I didn't sit there and study that. They were kind of a little bit further, but he was at left tackle. I saw that. I didn't see there was a lot of jailbreaks there and everyone rushing the passer, and of course Micah wasn't there. Micah gives all tackles fits,
right.
But that's what we want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see that battle right there. I want to see how he does against those great pass rushers. And Dante Fowler will give him some problems, and Azaraku and Nealon and all those guys will, along with Micah. But I can't sit here and I'm not gonna lie to you and say he looks way better and all that. But he was out there, and from what I've been told, he has done a lot of work in the weight room to change his physique.
That's good. My feeling is, I don't think he's the most important guy, to worry about. To me, it's Terrence Steele, and the reason why I say that is last year you assumed that Guyton would struggle, so you would swing the protection maybe to help him out. But last year, they both struggled.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, who are we going to help? If Steele could get back to playing like he did a few years ago, or even the second half of the season last year, I thought he was better.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't have to help him. And then okay, we'll have to just help Guyton. And then I think this offensive line could be way better. But they both can't struggle, because then
right.
Dak has nowhere to go.
Exactly.
So to me, I just need Guyton to be a little better, keep getting a little better, and then Steele play better. Listening to everybody's predictions on the team, Michael Irv, and what still bothers me is they don't have the Cowboys beating anybody good. They still have them losing to all the teams you will have to beat to get to where you want to be, and that still bothers me. They got them beating the Giants and Carolina, maybe splitting with Washington, but they got them. Most of the people have them being swept by Philly, losing to the Chiefs, the Packers, the Lions, and I'm like, if they can't beat those teams,
yeah,
they're going nowhere.
Right.
And so that's the only thing that bothers me. Now, I look at the Packers and I'm like, Packers to me are not as good as they were last year. What did they do? I don't think the Packers, should be. They're only saying they'll beat us at home because that's what they've done in the past, but that's ridiculous. I don't care what happened yesterday, let alone last year. The Lions, you got to beat the Lions. The Lions are a weaker team on paper. They lost their coach. I mean, their OC. I mean, the Chiefs, I don't think are going to be as good. I think they're an aging team. So to me, if this Cowboy team is going to win 10 games, they got to beat some of these teams because you know what's going to happen. They're going to lose a game that they're supposed to win.
Right.
But they better win some games that they're supposed to lose.
Yeah, and you need to do that a little bit more often, obviously. Because there are a lot. I mean, I see, 8, 9 games here against playoff teams from last year? I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You gotta. The goal is let's get to the playoffs, but let's win playoff games. Let's try to get to the NFC Championship. This is who you're going to go through. Now we don't know what the starting lineup is going to be. I mean, we have an idea. We don't know how this guy's play calling is going to be. I think the team will be energized because it's just like when you get a new boss. Everybody's on their toes. That's just natural. I think the team will be energized, but how long they take to gel, what is Dak going to look like? That's to me, that's the key. It's always the key. The quarterback is the key to every single team in the NFL.
Right.
I think on paper, I agree with the caller. We're better today than we were last year at this time. Just the linebacking crew is light years ahead of what it was.
Yeah.
And I think the rotation of the defensive line could be amazing with Dante Fowler and the rookie and Sam Williams back if he's healthy. So yes, on paper we're better, no doubt about it.
All right. Well, good stuff. Everybody wants to hear from you, Rob. So I love when you call in. Thank you for the call. We talked about that's the schedule, and I said 8 or 9. It's 10. It's 10 games on this schedule against playoff teams from last year, and 4 of them are in your own division because you got 2 Eagles and 2 Washington, of course. So 10 games there against playoff teams, and a lot of that seems to be in the second half of the year. At Denver, you got the Eagles at home, then the Chiefs at home, at the Lions, the Vikings, the Chargers, at Commanders. I mean, that's 6 games in a row against playoff teams, and one of them won the Super Bowl. The other one was lost in the Super Bowl. Another one was the number 1 seed in the NFC, and Detroit got upset. So that stretch right there is just brutal. I don't like sitting here and saying, well, the league screwed the Cowboys here or this and that. I mean, it's hard to tell about a schedule, but one thing that I've never liked is starting the season on the road against the division and then ending the season on the road against the division. And actually, the last 2 games of the season are at division opponents. I think the league could have done better there. For sure, in that situation. But again, with all the things they throw in there, you just got to go play. You got to go deal with it. All right, let's get one caller before we go to our first break. Rick in Massachusetts. Rick, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Raining out here, but I'm good.
All right, well, stay dry.
Yeah, my thing is that the schedule, the way it's first of all, I think they got to have a strong start to get with those. I think they could beat Philly in the first week, but we say as long as we have a strong start for the first with 7 to the break, and then we got that brutal middle half we can get out of that. Split them, and then have the final 2 games of the year to win those. The other thing I know, I've heard and stuff like that. We only got 2 cold weather games, and that's at Washington, I think, and Giants.
Yeah, true.
So that's good there too.
That is, yeah, you're right. Because of your last 4 road games, it's at the Raiders, at Detroit, so you're safe there, and then Washington and the Giants, like you said, those last two games. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, you did get a break of at Carolina, at Chicago, at Denver, and those 3 games are all before November. So you're right.
Yeah, and the other thing is besides the thing is that I like the linebacker core we have, and the only thing I would say probably if they could pick up people maybe for training camp would be something to do with the middle of the defense.
Yeah.
On the line, but otherwise I think it's a pretty good offensive line and a pretty good, like everybody else has said with the Guyton thing. So hopefully he steps it up for year 2. But I think the running backs, I think with Williams and Blue, and then you got Maffa and Lipke.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I think, probably could be either coach or practice squad, but we'll go from there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. Running back position is going to be one that'll be arguably the most interesting one because you don't know of all those guys, somebody could emerge as the starter, and it's rare to see 3 to even 4 guys that says he might be the starter. And he may not even be here. I think the only person I would guarantee to be here would be Jaden Blue. After that, they all could be cut. They all could be the starter. That's a fun problem to have or situation to monitor. So, all right.
Agreed.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, good to hear from you. All right. Well, let's take a break here on Cowboys Storyline, and we got another caller on the line. We'll get after this break. Be right back.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Okay, the 2025 Cowboys schedule is officially out. We've been studying that. Now it's time to get those tickets. They got limited single-game tickets at home at AT&T Stadium. Play teams like the Eagles, Giants, Commanders, Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, and the Cardinals. Visit DallasCowboys.com/tickets or SeatGeek.com, the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, let's go back to the phone line here. We've got Carolina. He is in. There he is. Where you at?
What's up, man?
California?
California, man. Yes, sir.
See what happens when we shift the show to Thursday, because you're always in the same spot on Wednesday, and on Thursday you're all. Now, what if we did a Friday show? Where would you be? Like heading back?
Yeah, I probably. If I didn't get stuck, yeah, I'll be back in Texas somewhere, probably Dallas or Arlington.
I tell you what, man, I appreciate when I look at these calls, the callers, and we have some regulars that call all the time, and you're one of them. But, you know, to see an Armando call from Mexico City 2 days in a row because he didn't get the schedule changed until the last minute. Michael's calling from Panama, you know, on his vacation. And you're calling from the road every single week. Appreciate that. Love that. And love to hear from you. So what do you got for us?
A couple things, man. I think I have like 3 things. First thing, I'm going to second Rob's motion. You know, I don't really second Rob too many times, but I'm seconding his motion.
Okay.
I'm really upset that nobody believes that we can beat these better teams. And like he said, we can't beat these better teams. We're going nowhere.
Okay.
I mean, what was the point of beefing up, you know, your whole roster. I mean, if you're not going to make nothing out of it, it was basically a waste of money and a waste of time.
Yeah, but who are they trying to impress? I mean, are they trying to impress Stephen A. Smith? Are they trying to impress these national pundits that don't have them winning those games? I mean, of course they don't.
They're trying to impress us. They're trying to impress these fans. That's what they should be trying to impress.
It doesn't matter. I mean, if you believe, I mean, think about the Detroit Lions. Are the Lions a good team? I think they are. But how many times did we have to hear great pick here? This another free agent. This is going to be their year, and it never has been until just recently. So you have to show it. You have to prove it. Dan Campbell went out and said, "We're going to bite people's kneecaps." Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Heard this before, whatever. Well, they did. They did. They went out and they play that way and they play that style, and they're a really good team. But you got to show it. And so all this culture stuff like that, but go out and win one of these games early in the year and then prove it. So I don't care if those people don't think they can win or not. I mean, that's fine. But as Rob's point and your point, if they don't do it, then I think this fan base is going to be disappointed again. You know, because they're getting hope. They're getting sucked back in.
Disappointing is an understatement. But like Dylan was saying, man, some of these games, man, they're winnable. I think that I said before, 10 wins. I feel like we're a 10-win team. Only thing that scares me is our ability to stop the run. If we can at least get halfway better than what we were last year, this team is going to be a 10-win team. When I say halfway better, I mean halfway better at stopping the run. Everything else should fall in place because the quarterback should be back, like you said, depending on how he plays. But, man, we know what Dak is worth when he's healthy.
Yeah.
He has people to actually rely on. So I'm hoping that in this first stretch of 7 games, we got to beat Green Bay, man.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Never in the history of AT&T, and I'm 30. I've watched all those games and been very disappointed. Very disappointed. So,
yeah.
I mean, it has to come to a point where we have to level up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks for Shoddy, but I think it's a good thing that they gave him this schedule right off the bat because now we're going to see what you're made of. Like you said, all this culture talk, it all sounds good until you're losing or you're 2-2 or you're 3-4. That's when we're going to figure out how much your culture really matters.
Yeah.
But my last thing I wanted to say is, man, I'm depressed, man. I'm hearing about all these running backs, and nobody's talking about my guy, Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
Like he don't even exist no more. I've heard all these shows, everybody talk about this person, that person. Rarely do you hear them say Deuce Vaughn.
Well,
I'm just hoping, man. I'm hoping he could show something at training camp because, man, if not,
well, let me ask you this, boy. Caroline. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like, and don't say why, I'm just saying, do you feel like he has made an impact on this team the last 2 years?
You know the answer.
Okay. And I know that you would probably say he needs more opportunity and all that, but so you're talking about a guy that hasn't made an impact in 2 years, and they drafted at his position twice in the draft.
Why?
So that alone is why but he's here. He's here. He can. I mean, there's been examples of guys like that you just didn't think that he won't. You know, and by the end of the season, by the training camp, he is getting those reps. So you know what? It's up to him to show it. He's here, and he has a chance to do that. And he's got his offensive coordinator, Connor Riley, is the O-line coach. You know, he's got a new running backs coach in Derek Foster. If he was a running back, he was never drafted in the NBA either, okay? He's not the tallest guy in the world, so he understands leverage. So I think Deuce Vaughn has got as much going for him as he's ever had. So let's see if he can put that together.
I hope so, man. All I want to say is go Cowboys.
All right.
Keep that hopium in your cup because as long as we all sit together and they play good, it'll be a great year.
Of course. And I like it for this show when you guys call in on Monday in good mood. It's a lot better than when the opposite. I can guarantee that. That first year we did the show. Thank you, Carolina. Thanks for the call. Yeah, the first year we did the show, I mean, it it was magic. It was great. First game. I mean, you remember? I mean, I couldn't get over it. I talked about it for about 3 days in a row. They beat the Giants 40-0. I think I said 40-0 at least 25 times on the shows. I've never seen that before. You just win a game like that, and and that was great all year long. It was a lot of fun, and last year was tough, but it's part of it. I mean, it's nothing I haven't heard before. I've been doing this for 27 seasons now, and I know what I've seen and I know what I haven't seen, and you guys definitely know that as well. All right, let's go to Jerry. He's in Wichita Falls. I've been there. First time.
Yeah.
Jerry, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Good. First time call?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right. I like it. When you bring it, even better than the drop. All right.
Yeah, I think we're better than everybody thinks they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think our offensive line, I don't know, too much about all these players, but from what I've seen on tape and stuff, I think we ought to put them in their natural spots.
Like what? Like who?
Like, where was Guyton playing when he was in college? Did he play left tackle or did he play left guard?
I think he played right tackle, maybe.
Was it right tackle?
Believe so. He moved around a little bit. He's a project player. Whatever he has done, it wasn't for a long time. So he's still learning. If they want him at left tackle, just keep him there. That's what I think.
Right. What about Smith? Where was Smith at?
Tyler Smith, left tackle.
He was a left tackle, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In college?
Yeah, but he was going up. He was going up against East Carolina and Marshall and Middle Tennessee State, like at Tulsa, where like those pass rushers aren't the same ones. And so again, I'm not trying to argue your points. No,
I know.
I'm just saying sometimes they're playing. If you're going to say that, Zach Martin was also a tackle in college, and he's probably the greatest guard we've seen since Larry Allen.
Yeah.
So
that's true too.
It does happen. But
right.
I'm not to change your point or anything like that. I'm just saying there's exceptions to the rule, and Tyler Guyton hasn't played enough football to establish that this is who he is. He's a great athlete for his size, quick feet. He'll get it down. Keep him at left tackle. I think that's the best spot for him. Maybe right tackle, if you have a better option over, but right now I think it's going to be left tackle.
Yeah.
Jerry, have we
I
met?
do too.
Have we met before?
No, sir. No, sir.
I mean, I've been in Wichita Falls a minute or two in my life, and so you sound like somebody I think I've met. So it wouldn't surprise me. He's not the biggest town in the world, so. All right.
No, I've lived here almost all my life, but
were you there?
I even went to practices. Camp? Yes, I went to a few of them.
You survived.
My kids enjoyed it. My kids loved Emmitt Smith come over and shook my kids' hands and everything. It was the best time I ever had.
Wow. Well,
but yeah, I think if we could get back to running the ball like we did in the 90s, we'll be all right. And we started doing that last year when we switched that offensive line out when people got hurt. We started running the ball 3 times better than we did at the beginning of the year.
And
so
you know that Schottenheimer was a big part of that. Schottenheimer had a little bit more voice in there. And so look at the guys that they've brought in, the offensive line coaches and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of attention to this offensive line, and they drafted that way too. They are thinking running the football.
Exactly.
And it starts up front. They didn't draft the running backs early. They drafted the guards to get it figured out. So I think they're going to
tell you the truth. I was always hoping they were going to get that Texas boy. I think if we recruited more out of the state of Texas, we'd win a lot more games because a lot of players come out of Texas that are on all these other teams and they win championships. Most of the players that are out there nowadays are from Texas.
Yeah.
They're the good players.
Yeah.
Texas is a football state, if you ask me, better than most of these other states because there's a lot of players come out of Texas that are really good players.
Name one.
A lot of championship teams.
Name one. Not Patrick Mahomes.
Texas?
Yeah, who's a Texas guy that's winning championships? I get it. I don't even know.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that they were on. There's a lot of teams that have Texas players that have won championships.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't mean every team's got a championship that has a Texas
I'm
player
sure
on it.
every team's got a few for sure. So, Cowboys have some.
All right.
I know that. All right.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what it does.
All right, Jerry.
Thanks for letting me call.
No problem.
Have a good day.
Good hearing from you, Jerry. In Wichita Falls, I remember those days. Emmett Smith and training camp, and it just seems it's so long ago because it's just a different mindset there about going out there and two-a-days in the heat like that. It's just different. NFLPA is taking over there. You can't do that as much. Now you can practice outside in the heat. The Cowboys choose to do that and go out to California like they have, like they did way back in the days in the 70s and 80s. But yeah, I mean those times in Wichita Falls. I mean, I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm not working. I'm not doing this job if it wasn't for Cowboys making that decision to go to Wichita Falls. And I think about it a lot. And I just think about, and that's just the way I view things about where would your life be if this happened or this happened. And of course that's a big one. I'm the definition. I'm the walking billboard of right place, right time about me being in college at Wichita Falls and the Cowboys going to training camp there. So, all right, let's go to Larry in Kansas. What's up, Larry?
Hey, Nick, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Glad to get in that injury conversation last week. I've been trying to talk about that for a little while, but I want to move forward today.
That was you that made that comment about the injuries, right, in the grass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I forgot who called in and referred to it. I wrote down Keith in Florida or Larry in Kansas. It was one of y'all two that did it. So, Larry, good to hear from you. Now, what do you got? What do you got this week that you're going to throw out there? What theory do you have?
Well, no, not a theory. This is about the upcoming season. This is about what we still need to do.
Okay.
I think I'm thrilled with their offseason so far. We had a lot to do, and they got most of what they needed done, but the defense still has the two main things that killed us last year as problems. The slow death of the running game. Don't know that we've done enough to fix that. Still want to shore up that middle of that D-line. And then the Where's Waldo offense that killed us. When you're short on corners, that's what they did with us last year. Whenever we could stop the run and get them in third and long, they just look for that corner that doesn't belong out there, and they throw it to him and his guy, and that's a first down. And it just so never have enough corners, and we don't have enough, and soft in the middle. If they shore up those two things, there's not a team in this league that the Cowboys can't play with. Now, do they win? Do they lose? A lot goes into that, but I don't see how come anybody would say the Cowboys can't beat that team.
Yeah. Well,
so
I think you make good points. You're talking about two really important positions there on defensive tackle and corner, because you're right. I mean, you're only as good as your weakest corner. If your weakest corner can't, they find that all day long. So I think I think the Cowboys have done a pretty good job of addressing that. And the big wild card there is going to be Trayvon Diggs. When does he come back? And what does he? How does he play when he does come back?
Sure. I think there's still a good couple decent corners out there that could help, though. My question is more about the defensive tackle spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's somebody, down, through training camp and stuff that may come available on another team. But if they D-tackle, run stuffing defensive tackle is a spot that you can find late. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like running backs. They're available. They're out there. They're not a highly prized thing like pass rushers and these things. So if they could shore up that and find one of those two corners that are out there, I like their chances here once again. Can the roster stay healthy?
All right.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for the call. Now, here's the thing about any position when you're talking about guys that are still out there. They're still out there. Hopefully they're staying in shape or good enough shape that when they do get signed right before camp, they have no interest in going to camp and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. I mean, but you got to, we'll see what they look like when they do get signed. My point to that is that I'm sure the Cowboys know exactly what nose tackles and defensive tackles are out there. They know. What they want to see is Jay Toya and Tommy King-Basote, the two guys they drafted. They want to see if one of those guys, if not both of them, can play at a high level. They want to see Solomon Thomas, who's been an end tackle. He's kind of Chauncey Golston, maybe even Tyrone Crawford, in the way of, depending on the scheme, is where they're going to play him. He's going to play defensive tackle. That's pretty much where he's going to be as a 3 technique there, but with Osa and a pretty good rotation there. So, they want to see these guys. See what Mozzie looks like. See what Osa. We know what Osa's going to probably be, but there are some questions to answer here, and that's what you do at every position. Same with corner. You go out and get corner. Well, let's see what does Diggs' rehab look like? What does Savon Revel's rehab going to look like? How does Deron Bland look? Kalen Carson, get him back in the mix. How is Kyer Elam playing? So those are questions that you kind of have to still figure out. And a big part of all of this, too, is the new scheme, what we haven't seen yet. We just don't know. We look at players and go, well, he's probably not going to be that good or whatever. But we don't necessarily know what he's going to be in this scheme and what Eberflus and that the staff is asking them to do. So that's a big part of the defensive tackle position is kind of what we've seen in the past, and we may have a different opinion of players, but they might look totally different in a different scheme. All right, I'm going to take a last break here on Cowboys Storyline, and we'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
To Cowboys Storyline.
All right, this summer you can step onto the field with the Dallas Cowboys youth football and dance camps presented by Invisalign. Athletes of all skill levels, ages 6 to 16, invited to learn from former NFL players and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Campers have the chance to learn technical skills and lessons on teamwork. Visit DallasCowboys.com/camps to learn more. All right, so let's get back here. Got a different show time this week. I'm looking at the clock completely differently because I'm like, usually I do the 9:30 Central show. This one started at 11, so we'll go a little bit after noon, and I think Chris will wrap it up when he gets really hungry. Like when he gets kind of hungry, maybe, but when he gets really hungry, he's like, let's go, wrap it up. Because he's got another show to flip this thing around at 1 o'clock. I believe that's Hanging with the Boys will be in at 1 o'clock after this. So let's keep it going. For a little bit more, a few more calls. We'll go Keith, Fernandina Beach, Florida.
Hey, Nick.
How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. I didn't realize the show was today, so I'm literally just tuning in. But I'm assuming most of the conversation has been about the schedule. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I mean, we'll hear. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think? And if that's what you want to talk about, I mean, everyone's kind of has a different opinion, different take on it.
Yeah, my take on it is I don't get all excited about it. For the simple fact that we really don't know what these teams are going to be about. I mean, yeah, you think, like I heard you earlier say, Detroit, they got a good team, they should be good. They probably will be. But again,
right.
All it takes is one quarterback injury out of all 32 teams. I mean, we saw what happened last year.
Yeah.
Everybody thought the 49ers were going to be good. They felt the Cowboys were going to be good. Well, they were, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they picked 11th and 12th in the draft this year.
Yeah.
So, again, I think everybody it's something to talk about right now because obviously nothing's going on. But yeah, I just kind of take it with a grain of salt as far as that goes. But just before I came on, the other guy was talking. He did bring up a couple of good points I wanted to ask you. Do you really feel like as far as like the defense, do you really feel like they've done enough defensive tackle-wise and cornerback-wise? Do you think they've done enough, or are they kind of just trying to buy their time till they can get some healthy people back?
I don't have a good answer for that. Like, have they done enough? I think they've done enough to see, but that's why they do the OTAs in the minicamp, to kind of get a good idea of what these guys are going to be. And I'm not trying to dodge the question, but if they haven't done enough, they'll know that, and then that's when you go make a move. I mean, like, that's. Do I think that they will? I think defensive tackle, it'll probably still be addressed. I think that. I think defensive tackle, but they really like these two guys in the 7th round, and I get their 7th round picks, but they like them, and they think one of them might really develop into something, and if so, then you play them more. But then I also see Justin Rogers was a 7th round pick, and he's still here, and after he was cut and brought back and all this stuff, and so 7th round pick is a 7th round pick. Is it going to be Jay Ratliff, or is it going to be Justin Rogers, or somewhere in between?
We could certainly use another Jay Ratliff.
We could use that. Sure. Yeah, that would be good. I think I know there's a clip going around from Kelsey, just Jason Kelsey, talking about that. I don't know if you've seen that, but a lot of people have been mentioning that to me about Kelsey telling a story about Jay Ratliff, I guess early in his career or whatever. But yeah, Jay Ratliff. And I'm telling you, Jay Ratliff right now, I saw him the other day just out here at the parking lot. I mean, I think he's training for UFC. I think that's what he told me. And, man, I wouldn't bet against him. I'm sorry. I was just... Man, that guy when he was ready to play, man, he was so good.
Right.
So good.
Well, and I do have one final thought, and I'll let you go.
Yeah.
I think I don't really follow Matt Eberflus as far as how he's done. I know he was the defensive coordinator for the Colts, and then he was the head coach. How has his defenses been throughout his tenure as a coordinator and as a head coach? I mean, have they been pretty good defenses?
Yeah, and what they do is there's pretty good production at linebacker. The linebackers go and make plays. That's typically where he's been and what he's when he's been there, and guys that maybe you didn't expect, that would play as well. That's one thing that I think about when I think of his defenses. I think of, oh, man, Anthony Hitchens is a pretty dang good player. This Darius Leonard from the Colts is an all-pro. He was a 2nd round pick, I think, but he's all pro. And even with the Bears, they had some of these guys last year. I mean, Sanborn was one of them, just kind of overachiever a little bit. So linebackers, I think, have a chance to really thrive in this defense, and that's because of the movement they do up front with the defensive tackles. We want these quicker guys getting up the field, and really creating mismatches, and the linebackers can go make plays. And so that's one thing that I've seen for sure.
Interesting. Fantastic. Well, listen, have a great Memorial Day weekend.
All right. Appreciate it. You have a great weekend as well. I always forget Memorial Day is coming up here. I shouldn't. All right, let's go to Albert in Tucson.
Nick, my man, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I've had better days. My brother passed away, and I buried him yesterday, but he's a big Cowboys fan, and so I definitely will be there a couple games to honor his memory and probably meet you guys.
What's his name?
Raul Carranza.
Oh, man. Well, prayers to you and your whole family for that. That's nobody wants to deal with that and have to go through that. So I'm so sorry for your loss and
thank
for your
you.
entire
I appreciate
family.
it.
And especially as a big Cowboy fan, that sucks that he, didn't get to see a little bit more success here recently. But that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue, obviously, is you being strong for your family, and I appreciate you calling today. I know you're doing it with a heavy heart.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those words. It means a lot. And we'll be talking about it in the hospital, and he's like, "This is the one question I only have," and I know some other people got to get on, but he's like, "What are we gonna do at linebacker? Everybody's hurt. What are we gonna do at linebacker?" And that's the question I got. What do you think? How does it look? And what do you think our options are? And hopefully, God willing, those guys do come back from injury. But I just want to stick to that. And his question is, what are we going to do at linebackers? So I'll leave that. Thank you so much.
All right.
God bless all of you, and thank you for everything you're doing.
All right, Albert, appreciate that. Wow, that's a tough question, to deal with, just because not the answer to the linebacker stuff, but just knowing the origin of it, where it comes from. A guy in the hospital there, and on his last days, still talking about the Cowboys, still talking about the linebackers and things like that. And then Albert, for you to carry that over onto the show, I'm so glad you got through. I'm so glad you could ask that question, because the answer is not as important, and the question and the answer, neither one of it's important as the whole process there, and what what you and your family have gone through. And that's the first one for me of hearing that. I'm not trying to dodge the question. I mean, linebacker, yeah, I think they're going to be better. I think they'll be better there. I think Sanborn and Kenneth Murray, I think, have a chance to be really good there. And then anything DeMarvin Overshown gives you this season, I think, is going to be a cherry on top. And I think he's going to give you something. Just watching him out on the practice field, I definitely think that he will be able to contribute this year. Maris Leofau, let's not forget him. I mean, he's going to be a big part of things as well. And then kind of what they do. I mean, Shamar James, they drafted him. He made an interception there. Damone Clark, don't forget, if this is now or never for him. If he's going to do something, this would be the time to do that. So I think their linebackers, coupled with the fact that you've got some pretty good coaching there that have always had good play at linebacker, I think they have a chance to do something there. But I'm so glad we could answer that question there for you, Albert, and the loss of your brother. And that was one of the final things he's talking about, is this linebacker position. I hate that for you, that you and your family are going through that. But prayers to you and your family for sure for that tough time. It's a tough transition to any caller, but we'll move on here. We'll keep it going. We got Mike in Birmingham, England. Mike, what's up? Hello, Mike.
Hello, Nick. It's been a long time.
How are you doing?
I hope you've got lots of time, because I've got about 8 weeks worth of... Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello. I've got about 8 weeks worth of calls to catch up on, so I hope you've got plenty of time.
Well, first let me say, and I don't know if
are we on a slight delay or something? Are you getting me?
Okay. Yep. I don't know if can you hear me? All right. Chris, we might have some issues here with his connection. Uh-oh. Hate that. Can you hear us, Mike?
Hello?
Let's do this.
Hello?
Yep. All right.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yep. Let's go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. All right, Mike. All right, Chris, let's move it on. I'll say this, maybe we can get a connection kind of fixed there. But Mike, he actually sent a gift to Chris and myself. It was this very awesome soccer jersey from I think it's Watford, right? The Watford football club there. Over there in England, and I think they're still in the Premier League. They have been at one point there. So I don't know where I haven't worn that jersey yet. But it looked like a big school bus walking around. But it's cool. It was a really cool jersey. We had all the sponsors and logos on it. It was a very, very nice gesture. And hopefully, if you get a chance to, I hate that he didn't get through there. We had some technical issues, but I definitely appreciate the jersey and the gift. I mean, it was awesome. We love shirts. We love things. We love gifts. Ali sent some stuff. I know Michael Colton, California, sent us a T-shirt of his business, I believe, and Ali has definitely sent some really nice paintings. T-shirt. I mean, I'm not saying we're open for bribes or anything like that, but there's some swag that represents you that you want to share with us. Bring it. Bring it to we will definitely accept stuff like that. All right. We ready for Lester? Chris, can we go to the next call? Lester? Lester, are you there?
Good morning, Nick.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing out there?
Good. What's up? Talk to me.
I haven't really been listening to the whole show. I just got in on a little bit half of it. sounds like you guys are talking about our record next year. I think we could easily win 10 games. And I heard you mention, can we beat any playoff teams? Of course we can. We can beat Kansas City on Thanksgiving, and I think we can beat Philly one of those games. I'm looking for the first game because, I mean, we got all summer to practice and wait for them, and I know they got the same opportunity as well, but I think we can win one of those games against Philly. So that's 2, and then you can pick the other 8.
Well, I mean, it's never like you expect. I mean, you know, Jets and Carolina look like games that you think you can win, and you may not. But then again, maybe you do go beat the Lions on the road. I mean, I'm just saying, who knows how things look like on December the 4th? We've seen things.
You know what?
Can change a lot.
I also think we could beat Green Bay too, man. I really do. We kind of wet the bed in that playoff game, but I don't know what was going on there. But I think we can beat them as well. So that's 3.
Kinda.
That's 3.
I mean, they had to throw out the sheets. All right, you just threw the mattress out there. I mean, the uniforms almost changed to a different color. Yeah, that was a bad one. Sorry, I had to change from the kinda. No, it happened. It happened.
Yeah, it did. They were just sleepwalking or something. I don't know what was going on that day.
Well,
but
I tell you, playoff football, just if you watch hockey, the hockey playoffs is different. Hockey's different. Playoff basketball is different. Playoff football is different too. If you're not going to run the football and stop the run, then you better be as on point as you've ever been in your passing game. And it wasn't great, but it started because Green Bay is like, we're going to go run this football right down their throat, and we're going to stop them from running the football. And when that happened, the Cowboys really couldn't answer. And so I think you have to. That game should have taught everyone. You better know how to do it all. I mean, and it kind of makes you think that you need a good offensive and defensive line at the same time.
Well, yeah, of course. And you led me right into my next point. As far as Mahomes and all the rest of them, we get that offensive line together. We just run the ball, keep them off the field. That's how the 90s Cowboys did it. They used the offensive line, that great offensive line, as a weapon. So you run that ball, run. Of course, pass somewhat. Run. Eat that clock up.
Yeah.
And Mahomes can't hurt you on the sidelines looking.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
So.
One way or another, you got to score points. You got to score points. You got to score touchdowns. So yeah. I mean that, but you're right. I mean, I don't know if you need 11 runs in a row like that, like you said. One way or another, just be balanced and be able to do it. Because I guarantee, if they would have, once they started to stop Emmitt Smith, then Novacek over the middle, Michael Irvin, of course.
Right.
If you do all that, then Harper's going deep. That's what I think they're trying to establish here with another weapon here, especially a weapon in Pickens that can get down the field. So.
And Nick, you know what that's called when you run like that, and then those safeties and everybody creep up, and you throw it over the top. That is called a vertical offense.
That's right. That's right. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, Lester. Appreciate the call.
All right, Nick. Take care, man.
See you later. Thank you. All right, let's go. We'll try again to go overseas. We're going Zach in Germany.
Hey, Nick. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. You must be the most popular man on Thursday. You're a hard man to get a hold of.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. We love what this show has become. We love the fact that you guys want to be a part of it. We can't do it without you. So I appreciate it. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter what time, doesn't matter what continent you guys are on. You feel like we still get a lot of calls. So I appreciate it. So Zach, what's up, man? You're gonna be our last caller today. So what do you got?
I got a couple things. I tried to call the past couple weeks. Like I said, line's tied up, but that's expected. Love the draft. Absolutely love the draft. I think people initially were sleeping on the Booker pick, but when you lose somebody like Zach Martin, you have a decade-long All-Pro. They made the absolute right call. Draft a guy that can hopefully fill those shoes. You look at Ezeraku. He reminds me of a Ware and Parsons hybrid. And then I love that we pulled the cornerback in the third round, first-round potential talent, that was hurt. Normally we draft that guy in the second. I'm glad we got him in third, so great picks. You look at the end of the draft, the Pickens trade is phenomenal. What you gave up, and I think it's really important people remember, we're paying him $3 million this year. If he balls out and we can re-sign him, great. If he balls out and goes to somebody else, we likely get that third or fourth comp pick back, and then we had the fifth, sixth swap. So you're not really giving up anything or losing anything in that trade. The last thing that I really wanted to go over was the schedule. I heard a couple guys last week. Everybody's excited for the Eagles game. I'm the opposite, and I'll tell you why. People forget this isn't Madden. You got Dak coming back off of a bad hamstring injury. You, me, and Chris are going to be out there playing cornerback. And, we have to look at things a little bit differently. I think we have the pieces, but we have to let it gel, right? I'm an 80s guy. You're an 80s guy. You remember Tyson's Punch-Out game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You don't start the game fighting Tyson. You fight the guy with the mustache first, right? So It would have been nice if we got Carolina. But, hey, we got to play who we play. And I really don't like that we're playing two division games back-to-back, week 1, week 2. God forbid we go 0-2 in that stretch. That's really going to hurt. So,
yeah.
I wanted to get your thoughts. I know a lot of people have asked you, but now with that perspective, does it change your opinion of the schedule?
All right. Thanks for the call. I appreciate that, Zach in Germany. It's our last call of the show. My thoughts really don't change a whole lot from the schedule. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier that, your first 2 games are against the division opponents, and your last 2 games are against division opponents. I mean, it's when they say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. It sounds like it's both. You better start, you better start this thing off right. And that's why I always say your week 2 opponent is very, very important, because if you don't beat the Eagles on Thursday night, which the deck stacked against them a little bit for that. I mean, this is a team that they couldn't play with last year. Now, we'll see if they've made a huge change. But if not, and if you do lose to the Eagles, you got to come back at the noon against the Giants the next week, and you got to win that game. You have to win that game against the Giants. And the Giants think that they are better. They've drafted some better players around them, and they're going to be they're going to be ready to compete, especially against the Cowboys. So you got to win that game right off the bat. So that's the way I look at the schedule is you got division early, division late, and a lot of really good playoff teams in between. All right. Great show. I love the fact that we had to make a schedule change and you wouldn't know it. 15 callers, a lot of calls, got first-time callers, got overseas calls. This might be the first time, and I know we didn't get to hear from Mike, but man, this might be the first time we had 3 callers from out of the country in one show. And all those guys made our all StoryLine team from the international squad. Armando, Mike from England, Zach from Germany, those 3 guys made it, all called in today. Sorry about the connection there with Mike, but hopefully we can hear from him at a later time. We'll be back next week, going back to Wednesday. Next week, regular time, Wednesday at 9:30 Central Time. So for Chris Beam, Nick Eatman, you guys have a great holiday weekend. We'll see you next week. See ya.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!